Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Shocking moment. ABC host regrets disrespecting Coco Gauff as she launches a game-changing lawsuit. The studio lights were unforgiving that morning. They always were. But on this particular day, they felt hotter, brighter, almost accusatory. The familiar ABC set, usually a place of polished opinions and rehearsed debate, had transformed into something else entirely, a courtroom of public judgment. And at the center of the storm was a name that had become impossible to ignore: Coco Gauff. What began as a careless remark on daytime television spiraled into one of the most explosive media controversies of 2025, one that would force a powerful ABC host into instant regret and propel Gauff into a historic, game-changing lawsuit that shook the sports and media world alike. This was not just about tennis. This was about respect, power, and who gets to control the narrative. The comment that changed everything. It happened in under 30 seconds. A casual segment, a conversational tone, a smile that didn't quite hide the condescension. During a live broadcast discussing sports personalities under pressure, the ABC host, one of the network's most recognizable faces, leaned back in her chair and said, "Coco Gauff is talented. Sure, but let's be honest, she's still a kid playing an adult game. Sometimes the hype feels manufactured." The co-host laughed nervously. The camera cut away. The show moved on, but the damage was done. Within minutes, clips of the segment flooded social media. The phrase "still a kid" was dissected, slowed down, replayed, and reframed. Viewers didn't hear commentary. They heard dismissal, not analysis, but disrespect. And Coco Gauff heard it too. Silence from a champion. Gauff didn't respond immediately. She never did. Those close to her described a familiar pattern. Absorb first, analyze later, act decisively. While commentators debated intent, she trained. While hashtags trended, she prepared for her next match. But behind the scenes, something different was happening. Meetings were held. Lawyers were consulted. Transcripts were reviewed word by word. This wasn't about hurt feelings. This was about precedent. A pattern comes into focus. As Gauff's legal team dug deeper, they uncovered something troubling. The comment wasn't isolated. Over months and even years, similar language had surfaced across media platforms. She's immature. She needs guidance. She's talented, but still learning how to behave. Words rarely used for male athletes her age. Words that framed excellence as exception, not expectation. To Gauff and her advisors, it painted a picture of something bigger than one host. It pointed to a system, the lawsuit that shocked the industry. When the lawsuit was filed, the sports world stopped. Not whispered, stopped. The filing alleged defamation, professional harm, and discriminatory framing, arguing that repeated public commentary had damaged Gauff's reputation, commercial value, and professional standing. But what truly sent shockwaves was its scope. This wasn't a quiet settlement play. This wasn't a warning shot. It was a declaration. Legal analysts immediately called it game-changing. For the first time, a global sports icon was directly challenging how media narratives are constructed, and who is allowed to shape them without consequence. ABC in crisis mode. Inside ABC, panic set in. Emergency meetings replaced scheduled programming. Executives combed through archives. PR teams drafted statements they hoped they wouldn't have to release. And the host? The host who made the comment? They watched the clip again and again, this time without studio laughter, without context, without protection. Regret arrived swiftly. The on-air apology. It came a week later. Same studio. Same chair. Very different tone. "I want to address comments I made about Coco Gauff," the host began, voice steady but tight. "In hindsight, my words were dismissive and unfair. I regret them deeply." The apology continued. It was polished, professional, carefully worded. But viewers noticed something else. This wasn't confidence. This was fear. Public reaction. Too late? Social media split instantly. Some praised the apology as mature and necessary. Others called it performative, a reaction not to reflection, but to litigation. One viral post read, You regret it now because there are consequences. Another countered, growth starts with accountability. Yet for many, the apology felt like a footnote in a story that had already outgrown it. Coco Gauff speaks on her terms. When Gauff finally addressed the situation, she didn't mention the host by name. She didn't need to. This isn't about one comment, she said during a press conference after a dominant win. It's about how young women, especially young women of color, are spoken about when they succeed. The room fell silent. I've earned my place. I work for it every day, and I won't let anyone reduce that. No anger, no theatrics, just truth. Why this lawsuit matters. Legal experts began calling it a watershed moment. If successful, the case could reshape how media organizations discuss athletes, especially young stars. It challenged the idea that opinion is consequence-free, that platforms come without responsibility. Sponsors watched closely. Networks paid attention. Athletes took notes. One former player said it best. She's not just defending herself. She's changing the rules. The host's private regret. Behind the scenes, insiders described the host as shaken. Friends said they hadn't anticipated the fallout, that the comment was meant to be casual, off the cuff, harmless. But intent didn't matter anymore. Impact did, and the impact was undeniable, a shift in power. What made this moment historic wasn't just a lawsuit, it was a shift. For decades, athletes absorbed criticism silently, grateful for exposure even when it came wrapped in disrespect. Gauff did something different. She pushed back, and in doing so, she reminded the world that greatness doesn't require permission, and dignity isn't negotiable. The legacy of the moment. Years from now, the clip may fade. The headlines will be archived. The lawsuit will conclude, but the ripple effects will remain. Producers will choose words more carefully. Hosts will think twice before diminishing brilliance. Young athletes will see possibility, not just on the court, but beyond it. And somewhere in that ABC studio, under those same unforgiving lights, a lesson was learned the hard way. Disrespect travels fast. Regret arrives faster. But courage, when wielded with purpose, can change everything. Coco Gauff didn't just defend her name. She redefined the game. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.